opinion. I trust that decision makers are viewing in and they're taking everything to heart. All right, to our next story. As a country of conspiracy theorists, we are not surprised about the existence of a suspected conspiracy by powerful groups, always provoked by political motives. Well, the Nigerian Senate has dismissed allegations that it was involved in determining the salaries or receiving special fiscal packages from the presidency. The spokesman of the Red Chamber, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, in a statement described the allegations as sordid and telltale assertions. Do you blame the theorists? After all, it is said when there is no information, rumors take over. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I can understand what the spokesperson of the Senate is saying, but he's just trying to be clever by half. Why I'm saying so is that it is true that they do not determine their salaries. There is a body, there's an agency. Salaries and fiscal, whatever.
Revenue mobilization.
Yes, revenue mobilization. They are the one in charge of fixing salaries of all public officers. That is true. So they didn't fix their salary. But there are other emoluments that they enjoy that they fixed on their own.
Okay.
There was a time we discussed it, and I said the salary of a senator or a member of rep is nothing. But when you look at their allowances, in a year it's over 100 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Confirmed, I've worked in the environment before.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm talking about. So by you saying that, it's not, we are not involved in our salaries and all that. Yes, it is true that because it's not salary, majority of the things that you collect, whether it is newspaper allowance, whether it is wardrobe allowance, whether it is this or that, that is
inconvenient.
That is what people are saying. And I still believe that the members of the National Assembly are not patriotic people. I'm saying that with all sense of responsibility. Why do I say so? Majority of the people in that National Assembly are comfortable people. They are representing the people. When we have the kind of situation that we have, it is their duty to be able to tell Nigerians that this is the state of the economy.
We're on the same page.
We are on the same page with you. We feel what you are feeling.
That's it.
And we are going to leave all these our allowances. We are not going to collect. There was a time they tried to deceive us and said, they are going to reduce their salary, but we don't need your salary. It's not your salary. Your salary is nothing. Your salary is maybe 400,000, 500,000. Yeah. That's nothing. It's your allowances. If you say, we want to forfeit our allowances because we believe that Nigeria is difficult, yes, we need vehicles to do committee business. But this time, we are not going to give ourselves vehicles. They didn't do that.
Okay.
Instead, they bought for themselves expensive SUVs. And one of the senators was justifying that, the roads, the Nigerian roads. How do you expect us without SUV, we won't be able to do the work we're supposed to do?
Oversight.
So, what we are saying is
in that regard, you were not persuaded?
At all. Because he's trying to be clever. That's why I said I acknowledge that, yes, they don't fix their salaries. You understand? It's not as if they collect special things from the presidency. No. But the Senate has the right, the National Assembly, through the president of the Senate and the speaker, has the right to arrange certain things for members.
Okay. All right. At this point, we'll take a breather and go on a commercial break. We should be back shortly. Please don't go away. Thank you. All right, folks. Thank you. Let's go back there. Majid, so you yourself are not persuaded too. So the Senate thinks we don't know what they know.
Well, at least we've had a senator, I think in the Fourth Republic, the activist from Kaduna.
Shehu
Yeah, okay.
I mean, they almost crucified him when he came public to tell Nigerians that this is how much they were collecting. That he was astounded when he saw that alert in his account. I think they almost suspended him. So we all know.
An alert he didn't reject.
Of course, he didn't reject it. Now, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Senator Orji Uzor-Kalu, former Abia governor representing, I think, Abia senatorial district, suggested that we start having a part-time legislature in Nigeria. I think probably this will solve most of this problem.
Of course, remember the senator before him, Theodore Orji, suggested an institute of chartered politicians. Don't you remember? Yeah.
And now, because if at a point we had more than maybe between 30 and 40% of former governors or deputies as constituting members.
About 21 of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's about 20% or thereabout.
Yeah.
Constituting members of the rest of the National Assembly.
Yeah.
So, no, rather the Red Chamber alone, because they like going to the Senate. I don't think there's any of them in the
House of Reps.
In the House of Reps. So, if you look at that, and like Mayor said, these are people who are collecting gratuity as former governors, and their states change their vehicles every 4 years. I mean, till the end of time. So they can actually afford to work for Nigerians as a service, you know. But what the Senate spokesperson said, we have heard him, but we know the truth. Yes, RAMFAC fixes the salaries, but even the salaries, I think for House of Reps is supposed to be 600,000 per month, while that of Senate should be 750,000. But that is not the issue here. We know how much.
That's not.
We know how much.
That's not the.
We know how much.
Detail.
That was a joke.
We know how much they earn from furniture allowance, accommodation allowance, and
related allowances,
vehicle allowance, and other allowances that are paid lump sum. So we know all these things. If they are saying we should sacrifice, they should. The House of Reps came with a policy last month that they will sacrifice 50% of their salaries.
But the counter logic came.
For the next 6 months.
Yeah, but you heard the counter logic.
Yeah.
The devil is not in the salaries, but
in the details, in the allowances. So they should tell us the allowances they earn, which they are willing to shelve, like some other parliaments who wants to show concern with their citizens. I think the senators and the National Assembly members should not continue to have a wool in their
Let me add to it. Part of the problem we have for this end bad government protest was that people believe that we have members of National Assembly that are buying SUVs for themselves, that are living large, and you want us to make sacrifices. That's why I said, because things are really difficult.
Oh, they are.
We have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And the people who are representing, who you claim to be representing the people, should show that they are with the people. Yeah. They're not doing that. They are living as, the other time, I complained that when you see the convoy of the Speaker and the President of the Senate, you just know that we are not serious. We have a problem, but we are still deluding ourselves that we are a rich country.
The street lingo is, if your dog begins to bark at you, you must take heed.
I hope so. I hope they will learn, because they don't care. That's what I believe. They don't bother. Because what I'm saying is that these people can afford to say, okay, let's make sacrifices. And Nigerians will be encouraged to endure, to say, okay, we can see that government is doing everything possible to turn things around. But when you tell people that, oh, things are difficult, we don't have money, we are trying to get this, and they see the kind of life that you live, based on our own patrimony, it's not fair.
And so you don't blame conspiracy theorists?
Of course, there will always be conspiracy theorists, because what I'm saying is that they can see, perception is everything in politics. They can see that you are not making sacrifices. They can see that you are living large, which is even bad. It makes things worse, because people will now believe that, oh, these people are lying to us. You understand? Nigeria is not as broke as they claim. But Nigeria is broke. That's the reality.
And MJ Otto von Bismarck said the tragedy of science, the poignant lesson of history is that man, including the politician, hardly learns from history.
Yeah.
Many countries are losing their cool because of things like this.
You know, a lot of protests are happening all over the world. We just saw, what is still going on in Kenya, but we thank God that of Nigeria, people were a bit reasonable. They said they have ended it. Even in UK, protests are ongoing. Yeah. And it's because more people are getting more informed, and more people are believing that there are some, quote and unquote, few people, upper class, that are sharing, enjoying the patrimony that all of us should be benefiting from. So they wouldn't mind to let hell loose. So that's why we need to be careful. And also, those living ostentatious lives should have a rethink. And also, members, especially members of the National Assembly,
yes,
a lot of eyes are on them. And it's like, look at the debate on 70,000 minimum wage, how long it took.
Yeah.
And you see, our universities will go on strike for several years. Medical doctors, these are things they should legislate on. Improved welfare for people. If people see that they are doing things that are promises, I think the pressure of wanting to know how much they earn, will be a lot less. Not for them to be living in abject, for us on this side to be living in abject poverty while they are living in a squalor. I think it's a balance that has to be checked, Okay,
then. Let's broach the last but not least subject matter.